Good morning, students. Today we are going to start the new second portion of chapter heat. So before we start this one, we'll just revise what we have already studied. We have studied heat. Heat is what one type of energy where we feel the hotness or coldness of object. Means how much hot. It is very hot or it is less hot. So either we feel hotness or coldness. So then we have studied the measuring the heat. So measuring heat, that measurement is known as temperature. This temperature can be measured in degree Celsius or degree Fahrenheit. So now we are using degree Celsius, and for measuring temperature one device is this, that here the device name is thermometer. So we have studied about clinical thermometer, and now we will start that laboratory thermometer. So for clinical thermometer, the temperature range is how much? 35 degree centigrade to 42 degree centigrade. Centigrade or Celsius, both are same thing. So 35 degree Celsius to 42 degrees. Now look at laboratory thermometer. Here in the laboratory thermometer, look at here. It has a range from minus 10 degree Celsius to 110 degrees Celsius. So you can see in this screen that thermometer is given. This is laboratory thermometer. So here look, this is minus 10 and here 110. So it is ranging from 10 to minus 10 to 110 degree Celsius or centigrade. So this is used to measure temperature of other things except human body. Means clinical thermometer is used to measure body temperature, but this laboratory thermometer is used to measure the other things except human body. You cannot measure body temperature, but you can measure the temperature of air, temperature of atmosphere, or measure the temperature of room, or you can measure the temperature of ice, any object, solid object. You can measure this temperature, or you can measure the temperature of weather like this. So look at here the picture. Here the thermometer, the laboratory thermometer, it has glass bulb here. Inside glass bulb mercury is there. Then here lower fixed point and upper fixed point is there. This is surrounded by a thin bore glass tube. So this whole laboratory thermometer, it is surrounded by thin bore glass tube, and here one hook is present, that through hook you can hold this thermometer. Then here inside the tube one capillary tube is there. Capillary tube means one small thin tube. In this tube the mercury will pass, and where mercury will pass, where you will see the mercury, there you can find out the temperature. So while taking reading in this laboratory thermometer, you have to keep it upright, not tilted. Upright means straight like this. Not tilted means not tilted, slanting like this. You have to keep straight. The bulb of thermometer should be surrounded by all sides of substances of which temperature is to measure. Bulb will be downside, like here. This is the bulb, like that. This portion is glass bulb, like that. The bulb will be surrounded by the substance of which temperature is to. The bulb should not touch the surface of container. If I am measuring ice, so ice should be should surround the bulb, and the bulb should not touch the surface of container, this surface, downside surface of container. So this is about the laboratory thermometer and how we can use this thermometer. Okay, we can know. And there is also one type of thermometer, that laboratory thermometer. It was used to measure the weather reports. It is used to measure the maximum and minimum temperatures of a previous day, and it is reported in weather reports. And this thermometer is also called as maximum minimum thermometer. Let's see next. So here you are seeing another clinical thermometer. So in clinical thermometer, here look, one constriction is there. This constriction means one like this type of portion, centered portion. This constriction is what? This constriction is known as kink. A kink is present near the bulb, prevents mercury level falling its own. So mercury level cannot fall on its own. So it will provide this facility. So how here two questions I have given, but first one is temperature must be read while the laboratory thermometer is in object. So already I told, when you are using the laboratory thermometer for measuring, the bulb of the thermometer has to be surrounded by that object. So why you should surround by the object and keep and read the temperature? Because if you are taking out the thermometer out of that object, then suddenly the mercury level, if this one is the thermometer and your bulb here you have kept in the object, if you take out from the object and keep the object, and mercury level goes up, and it has seen this much temperature is there, mercury level will go up and it will show the temperature. But if you are taking out from the object, suddenly this mercury level will fall down, and this mercury level will fall down, and you cannot use the means you cannot see the temperature, and temperature since temperature reading will change. That's why what we are doing while using the laboratory thermometer, while reading the temperature, the laboratory thermometer should kept in the object. Next, why does the mercury level not fall and rise in clinical thermometer when taken out of the mouth? So when we are using the clinical thermometer, what we are doing? We are keeping under arm or under the tongue inside mouth. Then for seeing the temperature, we are taking out from the mouth or from the underarm. So there the temperature is not fluctuating, means not changing. Why that is not changing? Because mercury level is not falling down or rising suddenly. Fall or rise suddenly. Why? Because it has a kink. Already told, it has a kink. Here it has a kink, and that kink prevents the mercury level falling on its own. It cannot fall by itself. So here this is the kink. It is present in only clinical thermometer, and it prevents mercury level falling, means due to kink mercury level does not fall by its own. So this is the answer of this. So next you can move to next. Look at here. I have given you two pictures. So here you can compare the clinical thermometer and the laboratory thermometer. So this is the laboratory thermometer and this is the clinical thermometer. Here clinical thermometer kink is present, here kink is absent. So next picture, you look at here. Here this one, in this picture you have to draw these two picture. So you can draw this picture. Here you are seeing the temperature range of clinical thermometer and laboratory thermometer. So in laboratory thermometer it is ranging from -10 degree to 110 degree centigrade, and in clinical thermometer it is ranging from 35 degree centigrade to 42 degree centigrade. So you have to draw these things in your activity copy or in your classwork copy. You have to draw this both type of thermometer. So in thermometer we are using mercury, but mercury is hazardous means very dangerous for health. If it is coming direct contact of us, means if we are touching or if it is falling on our skin, then it will create so many problems. Okay, medical problems, so many medical problems, and it is dangerous for human body or any body. So what you will do, if it is breaking, we have to consult any specific person, so that the person will, what he will do, he or she will do, they will dump that waste, or they will remove that waste. But if it is coming direct contact, so it is hazardous to our body, so that we cannot use always this clinical or laboratory thermometer which has mercury. So there is another thermometer, that is digital thermometer. Now in this corona pandemic situation, you can see in corona pandemic situation, if you have gone to hospital, you are seeing, or in TV also you are seeing, there somebody, this type of thing, you are seeing this thing, and this is what, this is a digital thermometer. This type of thing they can, here this is also digital thermometer. So both are there. You can see this thermometer in, if you are seeing in the places like in stations or in hospitals, they are using this type of thermometer to measure the temperature of persons, those who are entering the hospitals, or those who are getting out of train and going out, they are measuring the temperature by this. So this is digital thermometer, and this has sensor. This sensor can sense the temperature of the body, and so that they are using this digital thermometer. And this digital thermometer is very useful, and it has no mercury, so that it is not dangerous to our body, and it can also give accurate temperature of our body. So now next we will go the transfer of heat. You have seen that you are feeling cold, or you are feeling hot, or sometimes you are feeling cool, or you are feeling warm. So how you are feeling these things when you are touching some type of object? When you are touching hot object, you are feeling hot, and when you are touching cold object, you are feeling cool. So how you are feeling, and when you are touching, how these things are happening? When you are going near to the fire, you are feeling hot, or when you are going in the AC room, when you are in AC room, then you are feeling cold. So why this is happening, and what is this for? So this is due to transfer of heat. So let's see what is transfer of heat. Heat passes from hotter object to a colder object. So always heat passes from, this is the property of heat, that heat will transfer from hotter object to a colder object. The process by which heat is transferred from hotter end to the colder end of an object is known as conduction. So this is one new term is given, conduction. By conduction, heat can pass from hotter end to colder end of an object. So if this is an object, so if this is hotter end, this is colder end, so heat will pass from hotter end to colder end of this object, and this is known as conduction. This conduction used to happen in solid substances. So, and in solid substances, heat is transferred from hotter end to colder end, and by this process is known as conduction. So here some examples are given, some examples of conduction. So look at first example. This first example, that hot tea is kept in the cup. So in this hot soup is kept in the cup or bowl, and in this soup one spoon is dipped. That spoon is not hot, but after dipping spoon and after keeping this spoon inside the soup for some time, the part of the spoon, this part of the spoon is not inside the soup, but still after some time if you are touching this portion, you will feel what? Heat or hot. This portion become hot. Why? Because heat from the one portion, heat has transferred from one portion, means this portion inside the portion of spoon which is inside the soup has become hot from that portion to this colder portion, and after that you feel hot. Next, look at the second example. Here this is the candle and burning candle, and over the flame of the candle, if you are holding a scale or metal rod for some time, then what it is happening? The heat will transfer from this hotter end to colder end, and so that where you are holding initially you cannot feel hot, but after some time you will feel hot and you cannot hold the scale. So this is also one type of conduction. Next, another example. If you are frying you have seen your mother has been frying egg or cooking egg in a pan. So in pan, when she is putting egg, she is breaking the egg and putting the putting the egg yolk and egg white, then what it is happening? Then it is becoming, it was liquid, from liquid it is becoming solid. How it is becoming? Because from the pan, from the hot pan, the hotness is transferred to the egg, so that the egg become fried. So these are the example of conduction examples, and here heat is transferred from hotter end to cooler end of object. So here the frying pan downside is become hot, from hot to upper side was cold initially, but after some time, after putting on the fire for some time, the upper portion also become hot. So in solid objects, the hot or the heat is transferred from hotter object to colder object. So this is about conduction, and how this is about conduction, the process in which the heat is transferred from hotter end to colder end in an object. So next look, you have already studied about conductors and insulator. So in heat also conductor and insulators are there, good conductors of heat and bad conductors of heat. So some objects are there, some solid objects are there from which heat can pass through easily. Heat can pass through easily, that is known as good conductors of heat or conductors of heat. Here, for example, what are the examples? Aluminum, iron, copper, etc. And some materials are there through which heat cannot pass through easily. Those are called insulators or bad conductors of heat. That is wood, plastic, air, water, etc. So these are about good conductors and bad conductors of heat, or you can say conductors of heat and insulators of heat. Next, second process of transfer of heat is convection. So convection is where convection occurs when heat is transferred through a gas or liquid by hotter material moving into a cooler area. This type of heat transfer happen in water and air. In solid, you have already studied what the conduction will occur, but in convection the heat is transferred through a gas. Okay, so from one material to other material or gas or liquid by hotter material in moving into a cooler area. So look at here. So given, so first you have seen boiling water. When water is boiled, water started boiling. Initially or firstly the lower portion of water used to boil, or that will become warmer. So here, look at here this one. So in this kettle, water is boiling, so downside water will become hot. Then after that, after becoming hot, it will move up, and the upside cooler water will go down. This cooler water again become hot. After becoming hot, again it will go up, and the cooler water will come down. Like this, the whole water will become hot. You have seen, while boiling the water, whenever you are boiling the water, the bubbles are coming. Those bubbles are what? Those bubbles are coming, and those bubbles are going up, and the water bubbles going up and always going up. Those water bubbles are what? Those water bubbles are hot water. Those are going up, and so that the lower side space is occupied by the colder water. Like this, the movement of hotter water to up and movement of colder water to down, and this process will go continuously, and this process is known as convection. By this process, heat is transferred. Again, see, we have seen now this one we have seen in liquid. Now we'll show in gas. How in gas convection will occur. So look at here. You have seen the hot air balloon. How the hot air balloon used to those hot air balloon, they used to move. How they used to move? This air balloon, look at here, as the hot air rises, here they used to burn, and so that the air, they used to burn the air, or they used to warm the air. When the air become hot, that will go up, and from upside the cooler air goes down or moves to the bottom of the balloon. Then again after getting hot, that will go up, and again cooler air come down. So by this process, what will happen? The circulation of air happens, and the circulation or movement of air happens, and this circulation of or movement of air helps to move the balloon, and with this help of movement or convection of air, convection of heat through air, the balloon will move. Next, when you are sitting near the when you are putting your hand above the fire, so what will happen? You will feel hot. Why? Because the air above the fire, it will become hot and it will move up, and when it will touch your hand, you will feel hot. So look at here, the convection is happening when something in home or in some place, something is burning in some room. Then what will become? The air which has smoke, that smoke will go up. So it is advised to keep yourself down and cool during the fire. So when there is fire, people are advised to lay down on the floor, so that the poisonous smoke cannot enter inside your body or from your nose. So this is here, firefighter is moving down and is moving down, so that the poisonous smoke cannot go inside the body, and poisonous smoke will always be up, because it is hotter and it will always move upside. So this is about convection. In convection, another picture is given. In convection, here what it is happening? There fire is burning. When fire is burning, the hot air will go up, and there the blank space will be there. In this blank space, the cooler air will flow, and to fill this blank space, cooler air will flow, and this cooler air will again become hot due to this fire, and again it will go up. Like this, in convection, the movement of heat or heat is transferred through a gas or liquid. We will see the sea breeze and land breeze. So first we will see what is breeze. Breeze is the cool air which is to flow from land to sea or sea to land. So if it is flowing from sea, it is called sea breeze. If it is flowing from land, it is called land breeze. So breeze is cooler air which is flowing. Cooler air or cooler wind. Small means it has, the breeze has not very much speed. So it will flow on less speed and it is cool. The wind. That wind is known as breeze. So let's see. During the daytime, the land become warmer and hotter faster than the water. Water will not become that much faster, but that much hotter, but land become hotter faster. Then the air over the land becomes also hotter and it will rise up. So here, due to sun, in the daytime the air become hot and it will move up. Then it will, if it will moving up, this place become blanks. Then to fill this space, what will happen? The cooler air from the sea, it will rushes towards the land, means it will come towards the land to take its place, and the warm air from the land move towards the sea to complete the cycle. So if here cooler air is coming, then the warmer air will go to the sea. So like this circle will happen, which will complete the cycle, and the air from the sea is called sea breeze. And sea breeze will happen, sea breeze will come during daytime. So this is about sea breeze. Then we will see the land breeze. During land breeze, when it will come? It will come at night. During night, the land become cooler faster, and the water which has been heated in daytime, that will cool down more slowly than land. That cannot cool fastly. So the water will be heat, and the water will be hot or warmer than the land, and land will become cool easily. So the cool air from the land will move towards the sea, and this cool air from the land which is moving towards the sea is called land breeze. So this is about land breeze. So land breeze will happen during night time. This is about convection. Then convection. Then last process of transfer of heat is radiation. So radiation is the flow of heat between the objects that are not in contact with each other. Like we are getting heat from the sun when we are going out, then we are getting heat. That heat is coming from the sun, and that by the process of radiation. And when we are sitting near the fire, then we are feeling warm. That is because of radiation, because the fire is radiating heat everywhere, means this is fire and this will radiate heat everywhere, every side of the fire, so that where the people surrounding the fire can feel heat. Then from the sun the heat will come to the earth and we are feeling hot because of this sun rays, and these sun rays are traveling through space, and this process is known as radiation. So all body radiate heats. From the all body you can found heat. So radiation of heat does not require any medium, so it can travel in space also. In space nothing is there, no medium is there, and when this heat falls on an object, a part of it is reflected, a part of heat is absorbed, and a part is transmitted. You have already studied about reflection. Reflection is what? Bouncing off. Means when you are throwing a ball, it is coming back. So it is bouncing. Like that, heat can bounce off or heat can reflect. It can go and come back again. It can reflect or heat can absorb. Absorbed means it will go inside the body, or heat can be transmitted. Transmitted means heat can go from one place to other place or one object to other object. That is transmitted. Heat can be transmitted. So heat can be, when heat falls on an object, it is reflected. It can be reflected, absorbed or transmitted. So now here in brief it is written, three ways of heat can move. One is conduction, other one is convection, another one is, third one is radiation. So here by touching we are feeling conduction. So from this part of here, this one metal is held, here one person is holding the metal. So from one side of metal heat is transferring to other side of metal. So here conduction is happening, means heat is transferring from one end to the other end of the same object. Then convection. In convection, through air heat is transferring to the person directly. So in convection, hotter air is going up and we are feeling hot, and cooler air is coming down. In radiation, heat is passing through, means heat is scattering or going everywhere, so that the person who is sitting near the fire, they can feel hot. So this is about transfer of heat. So last thing is there, that we will feel, in summer and winter we are wearing different types of clothes. Like in summer we are wearing the loose clothes and light color objects or light colors material clothes. Then in winter we used to wear the dark color clothes, and that one is winter wear are thick. So dark color objects absorb more heat than light color objects. Means whatever dark color objects are there, they will absorb more heat. That is the reason we used to feel comfortable in light color object in summer. Then in winter, woolen clothes we wear woolen clothes. Why? That will keep us warm, because wool is the poor conductor of heat and it has air trapped in between fibers. So this is about the clothes we are wearing during winter and summer. So it is all about your heat chapter. So your heat chapter is over. Then now what you have to do? You have to do the classwork and homework, means you have to do the exercise. And in next science class we will discuss all your doubts till this chapter, whatever you have in the Zoom up class. So thank you all.